Hello everybody, it's good to be back home again. So no longer will I be disturbed by the crows and the wind and that sort of thing. It's much calmer around here and can't even hear the gulls. But anyway, it's nice to be back home. I don't know whether you followed online that scripture day that they had at the diocese on the diocesan website. I listened to bits and pieces of it, and I was very taken by a remark by Karen Kilby, who is the Bede Professor of Catholic Theology in Durham University. And she commented about how in reading the Bible we can so easily just sort of pass over the things that don't fit into our normal way of thinking. And that made me think about how some people might react to the very last sentence in this last Sunday's Gospel. Our Lord saying, "My yoke is easy and my burden light." What about the person who feels weighed down by the details of what is expected by Christians, by the seemingly extras that Jesus adds to the Ten Commandments? He talks about, you've heard it said of old, "You shalt not kill, but I say to you," and so on. And he encompasses things like being annoyed with people. What about adultery? To include a whole lot of an array of similar sort of prohibitions. And forgiveness involving loving enemies. And the cynic, of course, raised his eyes and said, "My yoke is easy, my burden light." But what about the mother who presumes that church law comes straight from Jesus? She complains, the church won't even give a blessing to my daughter's second marriage, even after that fella walked out on her. Whereas Mrs. Jones's daughter, she's having a full wedding with all the trappings, and all because the first time round she got married in a registry office, and apparently God doesn't count that one. Sounds to me Jesus makes it harder for them that keeps the rules. So how can we say, "My yoke is easy and my burden light"? And of course, it's infinitely more understandable for, say, the man whose family is wiped out by a bomb planted in one of those Sri Lankan churches, targeted specifically because it was Christian. That burden there for being Christian can hardly be described as easy and light. Well, it may be called comfort to remind people that Jesus did warn us that following him could easily be very challenging. "Don't think I've come to bring peace to the earth. It's not peace I came to bring," he says, "but a sword." And he adds, "I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, daughter-in-law against mother-in-law." All part of taking up our cross daily and following him. Well, like all good teachers, there were times when Jesus would be stressing one aspect of his teaching, and on another occasion, another aspect of his teaching. We all know that we have to look at the whole of what he taught. Look at it as a whole. And it can be summed up in his statement to Pilate, where he said, "My kingdom is not of this world," or as St. Paul put it, "The sufferings of this present time cannot be compared with the glory that has been revealed to us." Well, that promise of future glory is something that we Christians just take for granted. But even with the strongest of faith, hardship for some people can overshadow the truth that we have to follow, that it makes us realize we have to fall back on that other part of today's gospel where Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who labour and are overburdened, and I will give you rest." And so, Lord Jesus, help us all to remember to be ready to accept that invitation. Come to me, all you who labour and are overburdened, and I will give you rest. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless you all, and goodbye.